message that said that the recording was stopped. Oh, there we go. All right. Once again, great to see you guys. In reference to the funding after school program, that's great news. This council through this term and in coming from last term has a concern. I want to recognize Council Secretary Montalvan in reference to her efforts to bridge the gap for students that have suffered through COVID. And it's this is a 12-year process. And my question specifically is, did you when this was being modeled, did you guys take into consideration what's needed from our community in those deficiencies are, and what are your goals in terms of how to bridge that gap? Thank you.
That's a great question, sir. Let me just jump in first to say thank you to everyone, Shirley, Adam, that have spoken tonight on our behalf. I'm most grateful. Thank you. And so when we received the funding, the first thing that came to mind was how can we use this to best support student, right? We reviewed some of the comments that parent made during our superintendent listening and learning tools. And we are looking also, as you know, Mr. Spencer, every fund or SAM comes with certain limitation. So we connected with Central to know exactly what we can do to this funding and how far we can go with it. We have had conversation with Shona Gibson, of course. And so we had decided to allow school who really know their student population better than the collective us. And so we allow them to tailor and fashion their program to really address the needs of their student. We are also looking at different ways we can use the funding also, since some of our parents have asked for additional art program, music, and all that. So just to tell you, we have heard you guys loud and clear, and that's something we are exploring as well, to open some satellite art music program. And I will let Sasha speak a little bit more on that, because I know she had surveyed the field to know if this was something we wanted to do as a community. Sasha?
Superintendent Louison, could you repeat that again, please?
I was speaking about we wanted to look at the need and the interest there, because we are looking at using some of the funding in response to what our families shared with us during our superintendent listening and learning tours regarding additional art and music program, extracurricular. So.
So a couple of things we're doing. Superintendent Wilson, I'll speak first for the music program. Based on the feedback that families gave during the listening tours, we're in the process of meeting with various nonprofit organizations who will be able to offer music programming to students. We are exploring options of whether to do that on Saturdays throughout our different schools that are most accessible. We're exploring the capacity. You will be receiving a survey tomorrow or Friday. It will be going out to all District 75 families, just for us to gauge what families think and what they really feel about music programming, how they would like us to offer it. And then hopefully after that feedback, we are in the process of meeting with various nonprofit agencies to see if they're able to fill the need of our 26,000 students who may be interested to come to do in-person, group, or individual music programming. So hopefully we will be able to share with you again when we meet in December the outcome of that survey and the feedback and the opportunities that these agencies will be able to provide. Our intention is to start programming in the winter through the end of the school year and expand on it if it is certainly successful. So we welcome any feedback from the council. Certainly when you receive the survey, share as much feedback as you can so we can make very informed decisions moving forward. I'm not sure if Superintendent Lusant, you want me to speak about YMCA or?
Yeah, we can do that, but let me just add, Sasha, all this, Mr. Spencer and council members, is in addition to academic programming we also having. So this is in addition to really expanding academic support to our students. Go ahead, Sasha.
So in addition to the swimming program, as I think either Shelley or Adam mentioned earlier, we have been collaborating with the central office of the YMCA to offer swimming programs to District 75 students across the 5 boroughs. It will be a pilot program. The idea is to have 8 or 10-week sessions per cycle. There will be a fall cycle, a winter cycle, and a spring cycle. Students will have the opportunity to learn how to swim for life, be able to get additional experience in swimming. We currently have one program at 176X that has a phenomenal program with YMCA, and thanks to Rima for sort of spearheading some of this work. And they've been doing phenomenal work. And if there's phenomenal work, why not expand and offer additional opportunities to many more students. So we'll be providing additional updates. Our goal is to begin this collaboration in the winter of 2023 with a winter cycle and also a spring cycle. Our additional collaboration is with Special Olympics. Superintendent Lusant met with the Chancellor and with the team at Special Olympics to discuss the potential of expanding all the programs that Special Olympics provides to District 75 students. Currently, we have a variety of programs that we've shared with the council that already exist in District 75, but the goal is to ensure that every District 75 school and students have an opportunity to participate in a Special Olympics program beginning the winter of 2023. So we will share that once the proposal has finalized, but the goal is to offer as many programs as possible for an opportunity for our students. We're also exploring other opportunities that are citywide that will be held in collaboration with Special Olympics, borough-wide activities for students and families. We are working with a group of schools who may be interested in unified sports. We have one school that is leading the way, 721M, with a collaboration with a general education school. And our hope is to add an additional 10 schools in collaboration with 10 general education schools. So our students will be working and playing with their general education peers. Superintendent Lusant.
Thank you, Sasha. As you can tell, we are really exploring different and various options to support our students and to be responsive to our family's recommendation. As Sasha just indicated, when you receive the survey, please feel free to give us as much feedback as possible. We don't want to do things independently. We do need your feedback just to make sure we are going in the right direction, or at least a direction you support. Feel free to email us, text us, and because your recommendation and suggestion are absolutely welcome.
Thank you, Superintendent. Is there anything that you wanted to add, since I don't see any hands or anybody in the chat that has a feedback or a comment?
Okay, so let me just add that we are really looking at every day we are looking at different ways to do more things. And if you guys have ideas for us, for example, we are looking at where we can expand travel training, right? Because we know it's such a great thing for our student. So we are looking at hiring more staff because a lot of people had to take different assignment during the pandemic. So we are looking at best way to expand the program. We are also looking at expanding our work-based learning. We are connecting with the mayor's office and other organizations just to make sure we have different avenues and different pathway for our students. I know now that Mr. Craig Spencer has some good connection where he is now. So I am looking to hear how we can, whatever, use his good influence to
Oh,
get
you're
some
so
of our,
funny.
to
You're so
get,
funny.
hey, I'm in
You,
business.
you're,
We
you're
mean
With all
terrible,
due
business.
superintendent.
respect, with all due
You're
respect,
terrible.
I
Hey,
got 32 years with transit. He
you
got
see
6
that?
months.
You see that, Pat?
I'm just
Listen,
saying.
Pat,
I'm just saying. Come on,
start
man. Don't step
making,
on me like that.
let's start making calls. And so both you and Craig can start pushing forwards because we need some kids in that biggest transit system in the world, right? So if you have any connection, if you know anybody, let us know. We will do the legwork. We will go meet with people. We are also looking at the retail industry. We have a great collaboration with Uniqlo. We have, like, I believe, students from 751M now that have full employment there, and they started training with them over the summer. Now they are employees. If you guys have any connection, let us know. We will do everything in our power to make sure we can have those connections. So that's all I
Superintendent
wanted to
Lassard,
say.
if you really want to sit down, I'll try to get there early before the party next Friday, and we can have some real talk.
All right, Sasha, you heard Pat, okay?
And
So let's put her on the calendar.
I will have the vice presidents back if my schedule allows. I'm not can't because I'm an official MTA employee. I can't officially speak, but we can talk offline.
Yes, sir. Thank you. All right.
Thank you, Superintendent. We have Co-President Green, hands up. If you would like to unmute yourself, Co-President.
Thank you, Co-President Tsai. Superintendent Louisant, I have a question around inclusion. I'm not sure if you're all hearing me, so I'm going to turn it a little bit. I have a question around inclusion that was brought to me by our D75 representative on CCSE, Ms. Healy.
Yes.
And I also have a similar question, but I got it from a different angle. Ms. Healy was talking to parents who are at this point in 75 parents that are looking for high schools. Some of them were looking for inclusion programs, but the numbers that they were given, the numbers and the addresses and so on, that they were given seemed to be the numbers for the building that the programs are housed in, but not necessarily the number for the coordinator, the assistant principal, or someone who is connected with the D75 site itself. Apart from that, also, I've seen some numbers in 13 in particular, because I'm in 13, in some of the inclusion programs that, there's not a whole lot of kids coming in. So, and I know that overall, there's not a written policy on inclusion. But I want to know what's going to be done to address the accurate information thing, because if no one knows something exists, they're not going to ask for it, one. And if then they know it exists and they do not have the correct information, because some of them could be getting the information from places other than the district sometimes. I'd like to see how we can remedy that, because it would be good for kids that wanted to be, students that needed to be or wanted to be in inclusion to be able to do that. And it does give an opportunity that's quite unique throughout this system, and it does work.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more with everything you said here. I am not sure exactly about the information that was shared, but I know our office had shared updated information regarding not only the numbers, the data around inclusion, and I believe we shared 3 years data. That's one. But we have also worked with the placement office to share the accurate or the exact numbers of different inclusion program for different schools. This information is available. We can share it with you, Co-President Green, and you can share it with the rest of the council. And that's something we want all of you to have. When it's come to inclusion, as you know, certain program, in order for us to keep them where they are and are they where, we need to have a student that are available and student that are ready for this program. So it's not in all cases or in all schools that we have a contingent of students that are ready to go into an inclusion program. This is something we encourage. This is something we want to happen for our students. This is something we will continue to grow and expand. And when you see the data, you will see that for the past 3 years, we continue to grow. One thing that I want to share that I believe I shared before, what you see in our numbers, those numbers do not include students that have been in inclusion that we have transitioned now to District 1 to 32. That means that have been decertified from District 75. So, but the data is there. We can share it with you so you have accurate information where those programs are. And if there is any additional question of concern, that's something we need to address in the immediate. And so that's what we can share with you.
I just wanted to mention 2 things, because you mentioned decertification. And as a high school parent, I've had, and it's not just 75, just decertification from an IEP. So not specific necessarily to 75. I've had a lot of parents at some point, different parents, varying groups, say, oh, well, I'm going to get rid of my child's IEP because it will make them look better to colleges. Just so people know, that is not the case. That it has nothing to do with it. You can go to Harvard with an IEP. Again, you can go to Harvard with an IEP. Brown is a university that is considered Ivy League, that is almost all IEP children. So I really like the facts to get out there and stuff. I have, one that's in college now, mind you, that's a D70. I was never decertified, just letting you know, and stuff, because there is in every CUNY an Office of Accessibility. You take the last IEP that you had. They don't call it an IEP anymore, but they will give you services from the Office of Accessibility. Accommodations. So whatever accommodations you had, most of them anyway, that you had on that last IEP, go carry over to at least CUNY and SUNY schools. I know do that. And most schools, private or public schools, do that. So I'm trying to say this because I also had a colleague on CCHS that had decertified, was 75 until middle school, and decertified for that reason, thinking that going into high school, it would have been a better thing. And then her kids struggled. So I don't want to necessarily see them struggle. I want to see them be independent and be able to chart their own path. But that doesn't always mean everybody's not the same. So it doesn't
Absolutely.
necessarily mean you do not need the supports that you need.
Indeed.
Sometimes you need, and when you don't need them, I'm a big fan of getting rid of them. So when my kid did not need speech, was obviously talking more than me, I got rid of it, you know? Or when the other one didn't need OT anymore or PT, I got rid of it. So you can do that too, but I don't want the thinking to be that only the kids that are typical are going to college. And that's not the case.
No,
Or even, yeah, and even, and the other thing too, I want to push back against, because I had 3 in inclusion. I still have 1 in inclusion now. But the first one I had in inclusion was an atypical autistic kid who is nonverbal, and I'm gonna repeat, nonverbal, who did not have a major set of behavior issues, but learned a lot more in the inclusion class than he did in the 611. Because like I said, everybody is different, but you have to give a chance. And last thing comment I want to make is that I realize that 75 does not have to be a destination forever. And some kids will be decertified because they need to be. But I think it's a case-by-case basis. I think people have to look at the supports that child, that individual child, just like it's an individualized IEP. I think the same thing goes for whether or not they decertify or keep them in 75 for those supports that they need at that particular juncture.
I
Because
agree
like I
with
said, if you don't need
everything.
them, get rid of them. But if you do, you know, more power to you.
I agree
But-
with everything you
Mhm.
say here. You know, we look at the I first in IEP, and so everything is a case by case. It's on a case by case basis. I know Shelley has been supporting inclusion department. I'm gonna allow her to, you know, add to what we just shared because she has some updated information as well.
Thank
Sure.
you.
Thank you, Superintendent. And thank you, Ms. Green, to your point, which I think is a very, very important one. So thank you for sharing that. I did want to make the clarifying statement as well that decertification from a District 75 program does not mean decertification from IEP driven needs. It means that those needs might be able to be supported by a district school or a community school. So when we speak of a student being decertified from District 75 services and an inclusion program, what that often means is the student has reached the level where the supports within the school where they're receiving their education might be able to, from that point forward, be managed by that school. So they would still retain their special education supports. It's a shift in how that's being managed. So I just wanted to make that point that when we talk about shifting beyond District 75, it does not in most cases mean a direct shift to beyond IEP driven needs. It's how those needs are being managed. Also in terms of the issue that was raised regarding who to contact within a program, in the My Schools application, there is the cooperating schools as information should be accessible. If there is a school that is being looked at that has a District 75 inclusion program and that information isn't being seen, or there's a question about that information, please go ahead and call the District 75 office, because we can make sure that that the linkage is made to the administration of the cooperating District 75 school. We want every parent to have that information to get as much access to the knowledge of the different programs as possible.
Can I ask 2 quick ones so that you
Yeah,
can move on to the next people?
Co-president Celia Green, I apologize, but we do have other items on the agenda, and I know Councilmember Christy Angel has not asked a question or a comment, so if we can just give her a chance for a minute, and if we
No
have
problem.
another moment, we can come back. Thanks.
Thank you, Chair Sai. Greetings, everyone. My question would be for Superintendent Lewis. I know you're speaking about decertification and inclusion and things of that nature. I'm speaking tonight on behalf of the chair of the annual report committee. When we did the report for last year, we literally had a lot of issues tracking down any information for inclusion. So my ask tonight would be if we could find a way. I mean, I don't know that I'm aware of how we're tracking our inclusion students. I know that inclusion can mean several different things, but we were missing a lot of data for that. And for the decertification, I know you did say that you would be able to send that out. I would love to include that so that our parents can see how our children may come into and leave out of District 75 and how the students are being supported. Would you be able to have additional data from the different schools from inclusion so that we would be able to aggregate that to work into the report?
Miss Angel, we have been compiling this data, and if you reach out to Sasha English, she will be sharing that with you. She can share that
Perfect.
with you.
Wonderful. Thank you so very much.
No problem. Take care.
Thank you. If we can keep it short between Councilmember Spencer and Co-President Green, who may have a comment or question. We do have items on the agenda, and if any public or interpretation rooms have a question or a comment, we would just like to get to it. Councilmember Spencer, I saw your hand up. Is it down now?
I was going to take it down, co-president side, but yeah, I'll keep it brief. As co-chair of the capacity committee, I think it's in our interest to follow up with what superintendent is saying in terms of, and what deputy superintendent was saying in reference to what accessibility for these schools, what do we have? Because if it's not out there for parents, then they don't know to ask for it, like what Co-President Green said. So that's the only thing I want to add right now at this time. Thanks for that feedback, everybody.
Co-President Green?
Thank you, Co-President Tsai. Superintendent Louisant or Deputy Superintendent Kleinberg, are there going to be more bridge classes to support the inclusion programs going forward? Meaning if the schools that already have programs are going to have bridge classes so that, you know, it's more or less, it brings kids up to speed and teaches them what's expected inside of an inclusion class. And last but not least, alternate assessment. I think parents don't realize that even if your child is alternate assessment at the beginning, they don't always have to remain alternate assessment throughout until the end of time. So I think that it's worth saying that your child may be alternate. I have two that are alternate assessment, have always been, but my point is, you don't know until you try. All of my kids started off as alternate assessment. Two of them did not remain alternate assessment. But again, that's a journey over time. But if you never ask, you know, the squeaky wheel gets the grease, so to speak. So you've got to ask and see if that is possible, if that's something that you as a family want for you and your student, and if preparations can be made to at least try and see, because it's a learning curve. It's a, you know, it takes time, but it's doable.
Again, I will say, Ms. Green, that this is absolutely true, what you just shared. In District 75, the philosophy is that we support students as much as we can so the student can be able, you know, to transition out of the district, right? So we have, for example, I give you a brief example. I was at 186X doing a PPO visit, and during the visit, the school had a data meeting, and they were looking at students, you know, different school call it differently. Some people call it PPT meeting, some people call it data meeting, some people call it progress monitoring meeting. They were looking at student and they created a set of criteria to look at student to move into inclusion. So there is really an ongoing effort on every District 75 school to look at students, to support them and to move them to the next step, whatever that next step is for them. As you know, what is good for one may not necessarily be good for the other, but we look at our student individually, provide targeted intervention to support the student so the student can successfully make it to the next step, which is, it could be inclusion, it could be moving from a 6 to an 8 to a 12, could be moving from alternate to standardized. And so that's why we continuously progress monitor to see, you know, what kind of progress students are making, and if they're not, then what kind of intervention and support we can provide to ensure that every student is making progress.
Thank you.
Sure.
Before we give the superintendent the final comment, do we have questions or comments from the interpretation line from the Spanish and Mandarin?
No questions in the Spanish line.
Thank you.
There is no one wanted to ask a question right now on the Mandarin line.
Thank you. Superintendent, do you have some last words? I
Thank
know
you.
you're gonna stay on, but just want to give you space.
Look, as you know, we see the work that we do as providing support so our student can reach their maximum potential. Whenever a student is placed in District 75, we assess a lot just to make sure we are providing that individualized, specialized support to our student. So every principal knows that this is the plan, and that's why we create what Ms. Green just said, transitional classes, transitional program, and where they are not necessarily in place, we identify based on teachers' feedback, parents' feedback, students that are making progress. And so just to make sure we are moving students along on a trajectory. We do that for our early learners, for you know, elementary until high school. And when they reach high school, we look at transition planning and post-secondary option for students. This is not work that we never want to do alone. As I always say, we will continue to partner with you. And when you make those remarks, they are very much helpful into guiding us into the direction we need to continue to go. And that's why when we have a chance to meet with you, it is always, we come in humility because we are doing the work together with you. You know your children best. And that's why we are not coming in to plan for you. We want to plan with you and do the work together. And we remain here available. Please reach out. Let us know what you're thinking. Let us know what we need to do more, what we need to do better, and we will do our utmost to ensure this is exactly what we're doing. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I hope you and your team can stay. If you can't, we all do understand. It's been a long day and I appreciate your presence here.
Of course.
We will move forward to our first item agenda this evening with members. We are here to share with the District 75 community, public of what the council has been doing. So we will go to the update of the committees. We will start with the busing and the curriculum since Councilmember Lawrence is in the space. I know he is also working, I believe. So he only has a little bit of time to speak. Mr. Lawrence, council member, are you available? Council member Lawrence, are you there? Are you able to speak?
107,000. Yo, but look at the money right now. It's just flying up. Look at our cloud, 5,000. Almost there.
I guess he's a little bit occupied, so we will come back to him. We will have our committee for safety. Councilmember Husbands is unfortunately unable to be here tonight to give her report. So I believe Councilmember Angel will give her report. And if you would like to add to your outreach and your annual report at the same time, feel free to. Councilmember Angel.
Thank you, Chair Sai. So for the Safety and Outreach Committee updates, for safety and outreach, we are doing a couple of committee workshops to Lord Jesus, I can't speak tonight, together for these next meetings. So the next meeting will be rescheduled from December 7th to December 19th at 5:30 p.m. And the topic will be navigating puberty and sexuality. I will put links into the chat so that you can have access to the flyers and to the YouTube for the videos. Part 2 of the school and public safety meeting will be scheduled to early or mid-January. We also invite any of the public who wants to join the committee to do so by emailing the committee, and that's at ccd75safety@gmail.com. Our previous meeting did include for safety, fire safety, nutrition, lead poisoning prevention, and part 1 of the school safety. These are available on the Outreach Committee YouTube page. Please like and subscribe. I will be putting those links into the chat momentarily. Our annual report committee will be having our initial meeting on December 8th at 6 p.m. If you are interested in knowing what goes on behind the scenes, if you'd like to be a part of it, or if you do know a vendor who would like to submit a sample to be considered as a writer for the report, please do come to that meeting or encourage them to come. That is again December 8th at 6 p.m. And that does finalize my updates for the committees. Thank you.
Thank you. We will go to the Committee on Transition, which is our chair. And I'm not sure if you have a co-chair, Councilmember Montalban, but I apologize if I made a mistake.
Miss Jewett is the co-chair.
Okay, co-chair, Jewett, I apologize. Go ahead, your report.
I don't really have a lot to update on right now. We had the joint meeting with safety and outreach on travel training, which was a really great presentation. So if anyone didn't get to see that, and the other meeting we had with Ms. Soto, I believe they are posted on the council's website. So definitely check those out, and we're working on getting some more speakers for.
We will go to the next chair and co-chair for the capacity utilization. I know Councilmember Spencer has not had a meeting last month, but if you have any updates, please share.
Thank you, Co-President Tsai. Once again, council members and members of the public, those who had signed on to the committee in August, I out of respect for your time, I apologize. There hasn't been any meetings. I had as was alluded to, a occupational change. My co-chair, Councilmember Asidiu, she's the chair of the hiring committee for this council, and she's had a lot on her plate. I believe we still have an opportunity to have a successful year with our committee. I, for one, we're coming toward the end, I think, with Constance, you could speak to this in terms of your responsibilities there. And I know we're approaching the season of joint public hearings and finding out what's setting up approvals to be set up for the next school year, 2023-24. So I want to get feedback here. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, there's a bit of an echo.
I'm not sure.
Go ahead, we can still hear you.
All right. So what I was going to say is, I know at our meeting 2 weeks ago that I had informed everyone publicly that we're going to have an idea by this meeting in reference to when the next meeting will be. I haven't had a chance to talk to Constance about that, either Constance or Mr. Lawrence, regarding this committee and the ad hoc committee. But my schedule this weekend is clear, so I want to finalize what I have for them and see if meeting this month is doable. If not, it'll have to be in January. So I do want to sincerely apologize to the public in reference to that, but we still have an opportunity to seize on what this committee needs to work on, setting up future sites for the expansion of our district. It'll happen starting January. And there is still a commitment from me, and I'm sure my co-chairs, in reference to getting that word out and getting the public informed and rallying them to support that expansion when it's called for. So long story short, I'll just need to December 14th to finalize a revised meeting schedule based on life circumstances at this point. I think what now that I have things kind of finalized, my training aspect, I want to see work with Constance to see if we could reach out and work with you, with the co-presidents, to reach out to Office of District Planning to see what their schedule is and take it from there. And I know later on in the agenda, speaking specifically for the capacity committee, there's a SCA on this agenda, so I want to leave any comments to the SCA for that part of the agenda. So that's all that's the report that I can give you for the capacity committee. Before, Constance, did you want anything to add? Your co-chair of the committee, is there something else you want to add to that?
Yes, Councilmember Spencer, I just wanted to add that the revised CEC regulation D140 is up for public comment. It will be voted by the December PEP. Okay, so anyone who wants to put in comments on it should go into the DOE website in order to access the regulation that's been put up. Okay, it's a PEP site. Also, I don't know if you're finished with your reports, and also there's the capital plan and the hearings coming up is later on the agenda right at this moment. In a few moments, I have to step out of here because I'm here at Tweed with Councilmember Jewett, and we actually have to get on the accessoride in 7 minutes. So we don't know how we can participate fully from this point on. I will also say that, let me see, I am the bylaws chair, and normally we do not discuss that in the public if it involves the candidates themselves. And I don't know how we're going to maintain that discussion since we'll be on a public vehicle. Yeah, I'm sorry, yeah. And also the bylaws, here's a meeting to come, sorry, I'm trying to rush through this. There is a meeting I'm going to schedule, as well as the agenda item for December concerning it, so we can move forward on that. All right? And also, as I said, the hearing piece, I don't know if we'll be able to access it. We may be able to listen in. I don't know what other participation. I'm talking about the capital plan hearing. Yeah, that's later on the agenda. I don't know what participation I can do on that, because we are supposed to have a hearing as well as the presentation. And those are best scheduled separately and not together the same night, giving people who have the opportunity for one to participate, especially the DOE employees, the principals and such, to participate in the actual hearing where they bring their points in. Okay. And thank you very much, Councilmember Spencer. As I said, 5 minutes from now, I'll be stepping out of here in about 2 minutes. So I'll see how well I can participate.
The vehicle is out there already.
Okay, the vehicle is out there, so I'm leaving right at this moment with Councilmember Jewett in this space. Thank you all. Okay.
Thank you, Constance. Stay safe, travel safe, Constance and Vice President Jewett. Co-President Tsai, can I have a couple more minutes?
Yeah, if you can keep it short, appreciate it.
Sure. Yep. So, anyone that signed up for the capacity committee or the ad hoc election committee, if you can just email any concerns to the council, D75 council@schools.nyc.gov, because the email addresses that have been established, I've got to go back and track them. So if there's anything immediate, if you could just keep it to that email address there. And during this transition, I appreciate your understanding and your commitment to our community. Just briefly on the ad hoc election committee, there's some changes behind the scene and some stuff that's happening from District 75 leadership to prep for that. So that also, I know we haven't met regarding that, but there's still an opportunity to go to the public and rally the public around NICSA, around making connections through other councils, and making sure they know that we're expanding. So that also I'll ask for the public in this council's understanding that we'll finalize something by the 14th of this month. Once myself and co-chair Lawrence gets a chance to see what the new developments are, and then galvanize our community accordingly and responsibly. There's also a check-in that I have to do with Mr. Lawrence and the co-presidents here regarding FACES support in terms of what the update is on that. So, like I said, no, it's been inactive for the past 6 to 8 weeks, but we still have an opportunity to do some work. I appreciate once again, I can't reiterate it anymore. Thank you so much for those that sign up that still are here. And we will get this going. We'll have a game plan by the 14th. Thank you so much. And I want to thank I'll Co-President Tsai and Green. I'll talk to you ladies offline, along with my co-chairs, and just to let you know what my new schedule is going to be and with the help that we'll need to get this to make this happen and present this to the public on the 14th. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair, for your report on both committees. We don't have any other reports. I know Legislation Committee may not have a report. Is there any council members who are chairs and co-chairs that would like to add additional things that they are sitting on the committees? Also, Chair Lawrence, not sure if he's available, able to talk now, but we would like to hear an update on the busing and the curriculum, since there was a meeting last month and there's an upcoming meeting for this month for December. Okay. I'm assuming he's not available. So we will go to the next item, to our co-president report. Co-president Green, can you give your report, please?
I'm sorry, I was, took a bit to unmute. I came in a little bit late, so I wanted to know, was there a motion for the agenda, on the agenda for us to vote on the council, to vote on our December date, meaning our December date being fully virtual? Which I
No,
think,
we haven't gone to that item agenda yet. Just to catch you up, we did adopt the agenda as
Mhm.
is, in the addition to Council Member Spencer's addition of an item for discussion for the next items, for the next agenda, for the next combined business and calendar meeting on
Calendar
December
meeting.
14th.
Okay, all right, thank you. One of the things I want to suggest is that for the 14th, so that we don't have to look for another meeting to have the SEA come to, if the SEA could come and do their presentation, then if they are available, let me put it that way, if they're available to do their presentation at one of our two meetings that's that day, it would be greatly appreciated. This way, no one has to look for another date.
Okay, we can get to that item. Do you have a report for the co-presidents? I know you attended a DLT.
I attended the DLT. We had a couple of presentations, and one of the things we did get done at the last DLT is the election. So the people remain the same. The chairperson for our DLT is Rima Izquierdo. Our secretary is Stephanie Sandias. The facilitators, the co-facilitators are myself and Mr. Shamel Lawrence. So, and in that particular instance, co-facilitators happen to be more parliament, it's more parliamentary procedure kind of thing. So nothing is, come back to me. Definitely come back to me. Let's move on to the next item. Let's stop. You can definitely come back to me.
Sure, no problem. So I will share my report for the month of November. I may not have it all tonight just because I've been busy the month of September with just the different campaigns that the city has been dealing with, the school DOE budgets and so forth. So I did attend the D75 President's Council. They were in person at Peace 596X in the Bronx. They also did a hybrid version. So I was remote because I was in Seattle, Washington on that day. So they did introduce the president of the Parent Association of 596 there, who was also one of the executive members for the President's Council. They also announced a few of the events that they are sharing with the D75 community for the month of December, especially for the holidays. And they also did open to just supportive conversation with all of the presidents of parent of the PTA, PTA, and the designees. And I know that there were some parents that got it, that was involved in that meeting too as well. I wasn't able to stay on the entire time, but I know that they had a good number of people who participated. There was also some school leadership meetings with district planning. Office of District Planning is the department that looks at the number of enrollments in the community of District 75 and where to place additional locations for more students. We've had one, which is a Upper Manhattan District 6 in Washington Heights proposal for a high school. That current high school will be Manhattan 79. They will be proposed to come in for next school year, which is for District 75. There are currently 2 general education schools in that campus, which is the middle school 322 and City College Academy. They had a really good conversation around what this proposal will look like for both communities, what benefits and supportive for both communities will receive. I believe Deputy Kleinberg had attended SLT for that, and also Kathleen Lefar for one of our borough representatives were there. And then we also have a proposal coming up, which is not affecting District 75 as a new co-location, but it will be a Sussex Academy who is coming into a location where District 75 program is at, which is 993. And Success Academy is expected to be located in this building if the proposal is passed for next school year, September 2023. And it is in District 28. So District 28 CC will be having a community hearing about the feedback with this co-location of Success Academy. There was a large participation at one of their school leadership meetings. So this is kind of expected to have, many perspectives. Both proposals are up for the panel for educational policy in January or February, and there is a joint public hearing on the calendar invite for councils of District 75 to participate. And that will be in your calendars once it has solidified that date. Other than that, that's my report for tonight. And if there's any additions, I will send it over to all the members. Co-President Green, do you have anything else to add? I know you had to take some time to think about what else.
I'm sorry. I was going to say that one of the things that I'm glad that you mentioned the school that is proposed to open, the high school is proposed to open in District 6. That's a long time coming for District 6, so to speak. I'm also glad that you mentioned the Success Academy co-location that may be coming to Queens, because I don't think they have a whole lot of locations in Queens right now. And I'm hoping that D75 is aware that although it may not always, that there are many times that it does displace us. It may look a particular way on a BUP, a building utilization plan, but there's a lot of times that the rooms that we use, because we use certain rooms which are things like cluster sessions or things like an art room that might not be used for every single period of the day, or things like a OT room that may not be used for every single session of the day. So there are occasions, and there's proof of this in Manhattan and other spaces, where Success happens to be in a building with a D75. So I think when we advocate, we really have to look at the full plan, because this is a proposal, but the proposals usually stretch out over 3 to 5 years as to how these schools, the new schools that come into the buildings, phase themselves in, so to speak, and how much space will the D75 still have left when the proposal is finished, when the siting is completed. So that's about it.
Thank you, Co-President
welcome.
Green.
Mhm.
We will go to the next item, which is the treasury report, which is our treasurer, Christy Angel.
Thank you. I will be brief. So far, our balance is $24,194. We are still in need of reimbursement forms. If you do have those, please submit those to the council. Also, I wanted to update the council that we do have the ball moving confirmed and purchase orders moving for the electronic equipment that we voted on for the $350 that is moving as of today. Also, additionally, we did bring it up in the last meeting, but we will need to cancel out our Wix premium account on well, not today, but this month, so that we are not under a 2-year agreement. That will now cost us $27 monthly, and we will be paying that January through June for the website. What I did want to offer, since we at this current point in time do not have an AA, it may take time to do the purchasing order. If it does, that may throw us off with the website. So if anything does happen in that regard, I or anyone else that might want to assist me can pay the $27 for that month and have it reimbursed from our reimbursement line, as there is monies available to make sure that our website is still up and established through June 30th of next year. And that is my update. Are there any questions?
Is a question. I see Councilmember Spencer's hand up. Is this on the treasury report?
Yeah, you said, Treasurer Angel, you said it's $27 a month starting January?
Yes.
Okay. This might be a little bit off topic. What I was gonna ask is in reference to, let me put it out there. Let me stop hemming and hawing. Include NYC. I wanted to bring that up to see if we were gonna
If we wanted to vote for
participate.
the $150, we could take that from the parent engagement and use it if the council wants to vote to do so, for the $150 for us to be a part of that.
Okay. I just let me just put a pin in that. Co-president sign, co-president Green. I know we don't have a couple of people here, and that's something definitely I want to. If we don't do that today, I definitely want to put that on the agenda for the 14th. So that's, I don't want to.
I think we might, let me just double check that we don't need to put it in before the meeting on the 14th. And
Right. I think that was I think that was
right,
an
but
issue.
we do technically have, if we move it from parent engagement, which this would be considered a part of parent engagement, we could use that to go into the include NYC. We would just have to consider that would also be monies that would be coming from the end of the year event and the dinners or awards that we do later. But we can always figure out how to make things happen. You know, engaging with the parents is what's important.
Great. Okay. Actually,
Before
co-presidents-
you continue, can we ask Councilmember Angel what date is the include event and what is the expected RSVP from include for us to sign in with the costs?
I would need to take a moment to pull that up, as I wasn't prepared to pull that. If you give me a moment, I can circle back to that.
Okay, I know that we have forum tonight, so if Councilmember Spencer would like to make a motion for it, you have optimal time to do that, but go ahead, continue what you needed to say.
Right. Okay. So I respect Treasurer Angel. When she brings it up and then presents it, then I'll decide to put the motion on then. I don't want to clog things up now. Co-president Site, you had mentioned, I had a question. You said there was going to be a community hearing on District 28. Do you have a date for that, or?
I don't think that they had sent it out, but I think either we can reach out to CC28 to find out when is the hearing.
Okay, so it's offside. Okay, yeah, that was my quick question. Thank you. So, Treasurer Angel, whenever you're ready, and then Co-President Sai, I'll decide whether I want to put the motion up at that time. Thank you.
Thank you. I just wanted to make sure that there's a time for it. Go ahead.
So we have
Councilmember
it
Angel.
here. 2023 Include NYC Fair will be presented virtually on February 11th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This does say that the discounted pricing will be available until Friday, December 16th. So that does mean we can vote today, or we can vote at the December 14th meeting. Honestly, I would almost have a consideration that with us doing the 150, how quickly that can get turned around with our purchasing order. If we do it on the 14th, by needing it by the 16th, that would be my only concern. We do have a little bit of lag time with getting our POs done.
So with that being said, thank you, Treasurer Angel. Co-President Tsai, can I get a motion for this council to approve paying the $150 discounted setup cost to include NYC 2023?
Would you add it to, what budget line will you take that out? Councilmember Angel?
Parent involvement.
Please add that to your motion, and then we'll need a second motion from another council member.
So, my motion is for this council to approve paying the discounted setup cost to include NYC 2023 event, $150 moved from the family engagement part of our council's budget to pay for the include NYC. I'm sorry that's long-winded, Christy Montavon. I'm sorry. I'm working with little sleep right now, but do you get my drift? Did I make sense? Did I speak English? No disrespect, man. That was a bad joke. So sorry.
Appreciate that. Treasurer Angel, you said what budget line is the parent involvement?
Yes, parent involvement.
What code is that?
Give me one moment.
Okay, we just need to have that recording secretary Montalvan on the motion, please. And we will need a second from another council member. Your hands up.
489. It would be line
249.
item 489.
489. Thank you. Co-President Green, your hands up.
I'll
Is
second
this a
it.
second?
I'll second it.
you. Motion by Craig Spencer and seconded by Co-President Green. Recording Secretary Montalvan, may you please take the roll call?
Okay, so we are voting on the motion for the council to use $150 from the parent engagement line to secure space for include NYC fair. Is that correct?
Yes, and please add code 489 to the motion.
Okay, Miss Amy Ming Tsai,
Yes.
Mr. Craig Spencer,
Yes.
Ms. Christy Angel,
Yes.
Ms. Christy Montavon, yes. Mr. Angel Morales,
Yes.
Ms. Joanne Jones,
Yes.
Ms. Celia Green,
Yes.
and are Mrs. Seydoux and Ms. Jewett still with us? I'm sorry, I can't.
I'm still here.
Okay.
You don't see me on the screen somewhere?
No, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I can't see
You know,
everybody. It's a long list. I'm sorry.
Oh, I see you. Hi. I vote yes.
Okay, and is Mrs. Seydoux here? I'm sorry, I can't see.
She's in the vehicle with me, but she doesn't have access to her device.
Okay,
So, my device is not on speaker.
okay. Are you able to pass her the phone if she wants to vote, or is she gonna?
Pass her the phone, but she wasn't able to be in the loop of whatever was being
Okay.
said.
Okay, no problem. So I just will.
So you have to, yeah,
Okay. Okay.
allow it to be in abstention.
1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, we have 7 votes for yes. The motion has passed.
Thank you, Recording Secretary Montalban. I'm sorry. Co-President Green has her hand up. Is this for the motion or you're putting it down? Or is there
Yeah,
something
that
else?
was for the motion. That was for the motion. I'll
Okay.
lower it.
Thank you. Councilmember Angel, can you send over the Wix payment, an email, and then we'll handle that to make sure that, we're not going over the issue.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Councilmember Spencer, you asked and inquired about the CC28. I will forward you the email now. They do have a CC meeting tomorrow night, December 1st, for the conversation of Success Academy. So please look at your inbox, and any members of the council, if you'd like to participate, it will be in the email as well.
Thank you, Co-President Tsai. Much appreciated.
No problem. We will go to the next item agenda, which is the District 75 District Leadership Team and the President's Council report. Co-President Green, if you could help me, I'm not sure if the president or the chair are on. Andrea Daniels or
Hang on
Rima
just a
Izquierdo.
moment, I'm looking through the, 1 second. No, Mr. Lawrence is on though, and Mr. Lawrence is the VP for the President's Council.
Okay. Let's see if he's available this time. Councilmember Lawrence. Are you here and able to unmute yourself to give the President's Council report? I will come back. Since we don't have anybody to report this item, we will move on to the next item, which is to propose keeping hybrid or virtual for the next combined business encounter meeting of December 14th, which is a Wednesday at 6 p.m. We are currently in the extension of the mayor's code of conduct, COVID pandemic. I apologize for that. To the 21st of December. So I know that tonight we are doing hybrid. We have some members in person and some members on the remote. Just to solidify for that date, since we are in extension, we do want to make sure that the flyer that's going out is clear to the public. So we would like to bring to the table for any feedbacks, and we would like to just have a motion to make sure that that day we're all clear about what it will be, hybrid or virtual. Co-President Green, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I just want to say that I know that November and December period are very busy months because there are holidays in between and there are breaks and all this other stuff. So it would be great to actually do this next one virtually, and it is covered under the suspension of the open meetings law, which is it's an extended suspension of the open meetings law. So it would really be great to be able to all do it virtually so that we can all, it's traveling right now is difficult, and that particular date is closer to Christmas and gridlock days and all that kind of stuff. So like I said, I'm going to reaffirm, it would be great to do the Wednesday, December 14th, 2022 calendar and business meeting for CCD75 or fully virtual?
Any council members would like to give a few words about hybrid or virtual for the next meeting?
I agree that it should be, I agree with, Chair, Green, that it should be virtual. Considering, the parents that do join us or the ones that may want to join us, doing it from the comfort of home with the cold weather and the other things that you stated would make it a bit easier for everyone. So I do agree that we should keep it fully virtual.
I'm in agreement as well, fully virtual, based on the climate and the season that we're in. Shopping, hectic, all of the above. So I'm in agreement with all virtual. Thank you.
I
Thank you.
concur. I concur with my council members, co-presidents, keeping it virtual for exclusively virtual on December 14th.
Thank you. So this will be virtual for both council members and the public attendance. I know that there's a lot of challenging around this District 75 community. So we want to make sure that when we are sharing the flyer out, that it will be full virtual for all participants. So we have any other members of the council that would like to give a few more words?
Co-president side, do we need to put a motion on that or no?
I do think we do, just to make sure that we're all on the same page.
So I'll put up the motion that December 14th business calendar meeting is exclusively virtual.
I second the
Thank
motion.
you, thank you, Councilmember Spencer for the motion, and second by Councilmember Jones. Recording Secretary Montalban, can we get a roll call for this motion, please?
Yes, we are voting on the motion to move the council's December 14th meetings to fully virtual. Miss Amy Ming Tsai,
Yes.
Mr. Craig Spencer,
Yes.
Miss Christy Angel,
Yes.
Miss Christy Montalban, yes. Mr. Angel Morales,
Yes.
Miss Joanne Jones,
Yes.
Miss Celia Green,
Yes.
and Miss Patricia Jewett.
Yes.
Okay, we have 8 votes for yes, the motion has.
Thank you, Recording Secretary Montalban. Is there anything else that needs to be brought up in this particular item for the hybrid and virtual? I know this extension is only for December 21st. I know that there are challenges with members on this council with childcare and work. If this extension does not continue, we will need to be hybrid in person with 6 members to make quorum. I see my co-president Green have her hand up.
Okay, while we're on the subject of the December 14th meeting being fully virtual, I wanted to add, again, at this point, if it is possible, to have the School Construction Authority do their presentation on the 14th, it would be greatly appreciated. So if we can make a motion for that, get somebody to make a motion for that. This way, we don't have to look for an extra date in December to do the SCA presentation.
Co-president Green, I motion the SEA have a presentation on either the business or calendar meeting on December 14th, 2022.
Can I get a clarification? Apologize. Is this just for the presentation or is this with the presentation and the public hearing together in one night?
This is just for the presentation.
Okay.
Because SCA gets booked very fast, and if we don't take a date soon, because remember, they got to go to all councils 1 to 32, plus us, plus high schools. So it would be good to have our date in sooner rather than later so that we can get the presentation from them.
Okay, Councilmember Angel, hands up.
Yes, question. If we get just thinking of consolidation of time with the council, if we get a specific date booked and we have time to get it out to the schools and to everyone else, would it not be conducive to have that public hearing part where they can just speak directly after the presentation? And if they have questions, the source is right there versus us, as you said, finding additional dates would be hard in December.
I'm sorry. Just for clarity, the presentation is basically for SCA to show us like things that they have done recently. So whatever D75 build outs, things that they are working on, things that are in progress, or things that they've secured the money for, that kind of thing. The reason that we usually have a separate hearing, most people have a separate hearing, is because it's really then for the building administrators, for the principals, for the SLTs to impress upon us the things that they think are really necessary for their buildings, for the progress in their buildings, for whatever submissions they have, and to get clarification as to what things are SCA eligible as opposed to eligible via facilities or some other venue. So it is a different thing, and it is a longer thing.
But
So
is it
SCA
something that we
presentation
could
tends
not
to be
talk to the
further.
SCA about to see if it can be compiled together?
Yeah,
Is
but
it
then
an
that
option
would-
to ask?
It's an option to ask, but it would take the entire meeting for the most part. Meaning SCA presentations are usually anywhere from 30 to, let's say, 45 minutes of a given presentation. Sometimes they're an hour.
Okay, if we could just ask and see what that might be able to look like, it might is just out there, just wanted to throw that out there.
But not just that, the committee also, capital plan itself wants to do the hearing separate. So that's another discussion we can have. But I would definitely like the presentation to be on the 14th so that, like I said, people don't have to really mess around for another day, and we can at least give SCA a day and a time.
Okay, thank you for that feedback.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is Councilmember Spencer? Hands up.
Yeah, Co-President Green, I know Constance was she's offline right now. I'm presuming that was based on my discussion with Constance. That's what we wanted to do. We wanted to have this separate, and then so we're in alignment with what Constance was looking to bring to the table. Am I right?
That is correct.
Thank
That
you.
is correct. And I think it behooves us to do it separately because you do want that time, that extra time with the principals to, not every principal has been here forever kind of thing. Some of them are new. Some need to know what is the difference between a project that's eligible for SCA and a project that's not. And it's sometimes a deeper dive. Sometimes it's helping them actually figure out what they need to be able to put on the form and how the form is formatted. Like, it's going over submissions. Some of them they come with sometimes their students and stuff and talk about the submissions. There's a whole lot that goes on at the hearing itself. So, I've had on CCHS, well, we have more schools, but we've had like a 2-hour hearing and had like 3 schools bring their kids and like, people show up. That's like one time people will actually show up. So, and SDA takes submissions directly from any school. So having them here to do the presentation, they're not going to get to do the submissions the same night kind of thing. So I do think it makes sense to separate it out.
And then it'll give schools time to look at the presentation. And then when we have to make a decision in January, they'll have to gather their stuff together. And then in January, it'll be time to hear what That's along the lines we're thinking, right?
Yes, that is
Okay.
correct.
Yeah. All right. So I still got that motion out there.
Any other council members have a question or need a clarification? I would just say that unless we want to just push back to having SCA present later after the 14th or the first week of January to give time for the committee. If not, Councilmember Spencer, if your motion is still up and you said
Yeah,
to make
I
it,
just want to say the first week of January is usually when all the submissions are due. That's why I'm pushing so hard for the SCA thing to be at least by the 14th. Because, you know,
it gives them
it's
2 weeks.
always the last 3 times, it was like a January 4th deadline. We come back January 2nd. So that's why I'm saying, once the SCA actually does the formal presentation, we can start collecting submissions and doing whatever else we have to do after that.
I concur. Yeah. So I still have that motion on the table.
okay, make your motion, please, Councilmember Spencer. And can we
So,
have a second?
My motion is to have the SCA presentation on either the business or calendar meeting of December 14th, 2022. It'll be up to the co-presidents in terms of how they schedule that in terms of the agenda.
You just said December 14th, correct?
Right. Yeah, either business or calendar, whatever you or co-president Green deem viable in terms of the agenda, how you want to set that up, but to have it in one of those 2 meetings.
Okay, can we get a second, please, from a council member?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Co-President Green. Recording Secretary Montavon, did you capture the motion that Councilmember Spencer made?
Yes.
If you're ready, we can do roll call.
Yes, we're voting on the motion to have the SCA presentation on either the business or calendar meeting on December 14th, 2022. Ms. Amy Meng Tsai,
Yes.
Mr. Craig Spencer,
Yes.
Ms. Christy Angel,
Yes.
Ms. Christy Montavon, yes, Mr. Angel Morales, Mr. Angel Morales, Ms. Joanne Jones,
Yes.
Ms. Celia Green,
Yes.
and Ms. Patricia Jewett.
Yes.
Okay, I have 7 votes for yes, the motion has passed.
And thank you. Just to let the public know, we do have public comment very soon. So we will open to anybody who wants to give question or comments at that time. Thank you. We will go to the next item, which was put just to be for review, which is the New York City School Bus Survey. This survey was shared, I think Councilmember Angel had shared it. It is a survey that is not what the council has published last school year. It's a survey that was jointly by the Citywide Council for Special Education, and I believe the Committee on Busing for the Citywide Council for District 75. The survey itself stands for Citywide Council for Special Education and Citywide Council for District 75. So want to make sure that all the members are aware of the survey, have seen the survey, and it is open for data and results for the survey. So I just want to solidify that the survey is transparent to the Council of District 75. Any questions from the council members about the survey, or if you have seen a survey, if you have not, I think if Councilmember Angel can put it in the chat and we can share that survey link. Appreciate it.
Give me a moment.
Sure, thank you. I saw your hand, Councilmember Spencer.
Yeah, that
any
was my
question?
question. But if Treasurer Angel is going to put it in the chat, that's cool.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I had asked from Citywide Council on special education from Heather as to the survey. She will open up for members to see the results of the survey. The survey is to collect information from both communities that serve the students with IEPs. That includes the charter programs and the private programs. I believe that's what she said. But it is also a survey that they hopefully can compile with the permission of families that would like to provide their name to be in a future plaintiff for a litigation. So this data is going to be used as an evidence of the transportation issues in New York City school system. So we just want to make sure that members of this council, as it is titled Citywide Council for District 75, that members have seen the survey, can give a feedback or wishes to add or take away certain questions or comments on that survey to really fulfill the needs of the students of District 75 as well as the students in general education with transportation services. Your hands up, Councilmember Spencer.
Yeah, Co-President Sy, gotta play devil's advocate. So this survey has it been, and forgive me because I had my work schedule. Is this something for the council to review before it's distributed? Because you make mention that people's names could be used for to be a plaintiff, and I'm concerned about how this how this survey is distributed and protection of private information and things of that nature. Is there any way you could speak to that? And yeah, my first question is it already distributed to the public?
It is distributed to the public and it was not distributed from the council as this whole independent organization is. I'm not sure, and I cannot speak on behalf of Chair Lawrence, who is the Committee on Busing, but I know he is working with CCSC and was working on the survey before they had disseminated out to the public. So it is out in the public to fill in that form. And I don't know the extent of what that survey or what was the collaboration. As I know, I only saw it right before Thanksgiving, and it was disseminated by Councilmember Angel. So I believe that survey is already shared, is it, Councilmember Angel? And if
Hi. Yes, so the initial, I guess, email came through ECC from CCSE, and it also was shared out through our schools on, well, I guess not our schools, but our social media. So we do have it there since it's a part of CCD75 busing. So that's been shared there. And it was also shared additionally prior to that by PIST and by CCSE on the same platforms.
Okay, so
that's
I
as
guess
much as I know in regard to where else it's been shared. I'm not sure how much wider it's gone outside of that.
All right, so I guess my question is to Committee Chair Lawrence regarding my concern is if our community is putting in their names and for whether they want to be to be eligible for a lawsuit, I want to know who's protecting that data, that information, and can this council be held liable But obviously with Mr. Lawrence isn't here, he can't answer that. So I'll table that, and I want that to be on the agenda for either business, for the business agenda on 12/14/22. Please, Co-President Tsai and Co-President Green. Thank you.
Thank you. Co-President Green? Hands up.
I just wanted to say something to what Craig Spencer said just now. Mr. Spencer, usually like if your name is going to be a plaintiff for an overall lawsuit like that, for a class action kind of thing, they have to come to the individuals and ask for their permission. It wouldn't be something that they took from the survey itself. So let's say they got X amount of data from that survey from 5,000 families or whatever. They may have, the people that originated the survey may have some parents in mind, or maybe they'll get one from Parents to Improve Student Transportation, one from another place and whatever, but they will come to you. It's not something where names are usually, that kind of information is just freely given, so to speak. They would probably come to the councils and say, whatever lead attorney it is, or lead company that's representing, would say, do you have X amount of people that want to join this and are willing to use their names for this purpose? It's usually not something they just, pick it out of the material and do.
Yeah, I respect that, Co-President Green. I'm a backseat driver at this point. I'm up here finding out this information, so I don't want to paint a broad brush, but
No, I'm not telling
I'm
you based on this particular one, but I've been plaintiff on other stuff and, larger stuff, larger DOE stuff or whatever. And yes, they do have to come to you individually and whatnot too, in order to.
right, and I
Yeah.
respect I respect your feedback. I respect Busing Chair Lawrence and his efforts. And I've also, and I haven't, I missed October's meetings due to my work schedule. So, like I said, I'm a backseat driver here. I don't want to paint a broad brush or cry wolf, but I'm concerned about this council protecting our constituents' identities and giving it to whatever entities and our name being associated with that, and they don't protect it correctly. That's what my
No,
concern.
don't get me wrong, that's a legitimate issue, and it happens all the time, and it happens a lot more than people know. So I agree with you about that, but I do know, like I said, for some of the other things, especially when it came to like co-locations or other stuff that was DOE centered and whatnot, where you had to put lead plaintiffs on, they come to you. They'll ask you for not necessarily a specific person, but certain people that fit a particular profile in order to make the case. That's how that goes. But they, at no way can they just pick people at random out of the survey information.
All right, I want to table. Thank you, Co-President Green. I'm going to
You're
table that for the 14th because I see members of the public want to comment, and I don't want to step on their toes. Thank you. Thank
I
you for.
appreciate that. And I just want the members of the council just to take a look at it. The introduction of the form does indicate the 3 words class action lawsuit. So just please review, the survey. If you have any feedback, we can tag it in an email with CCSE, so that we are in a true collaborative for solidarity of the community on transportation issues. So you'd like to put this on the agenda for the next combined meeting for December 14th, Councilmember Spencer?
Yes, please, Co-President Tsai. Just some clarification in terms of who's protecting that data, who making sure that whoever D75 families are protected and this council is protected. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you. Any other members of the council need a clarification? There's really limited information that I have, but I'm sure if Mr. Councilmember Lawrence is available, he can add on to it. It's he's the busing chair. we will go to the next item on the agenda, which will close out before we have the public comment. Which is any additional approvals do we need tonight? Any members that need to put a motion out tonight? I don't see any. Yes. And so we will go to the next agenda, which was added to this agenda tonight, which is from Councilmember Spencer, which is the items to be added to the next agenda for December 14th. Councilmember Spencer's item has been added that we just discussed. Is there any other items that they wish to have on the next agenda?
Co-president, I'm sorry, I didn't raise my hands.
No worry, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, so Treasurer Angel, since you did such a bang up job with Include NYC, hoping you can give us an update, and hopefully I'll have some time to participate in that. It was a snowy day on the 29th of January this year, and it was great to be in front of the computer, if not in person with people. So hopefully you can give the council a little bit of guidance and update in terms of what that might look like going into this February. This council's participation in Include NYC is ever since I started, since 6 years ago, it's been valuable. So hopefully I could be added to the agenda and whatever you have to add to that. Co-president side, like I said, I gotta get my weight up in reference to my two committees, so that'll be on the agenda, business at least, and I'll disclose it on the calendar to the public for comment in terms of capacity committee and the ad hoc election communication. So I'm asking for that to be those two items to be on the agenda, the updates for that. Since we voted to put the SCA the agenda, the presentation, if we can have some sort of discussion in reference to what our next steps will be after that presentation, how we're going to field in requests, because our next meeting after that is Wednesday, January 4th, 2023. So I would like to be on the agenda, either business or calendar. Now that we have this presentation from the SCA, what are we going to do in reference to fielding that? Do we need to set up a special meeting outside of the January 4th business meeting? So I would like that to be on the agenda as well. Yeah, so I think, and then any holidays, Christmas, Hanukkah, anything that schools are doing on the calendar agenda. If there's we can get something open for the public, something great that the school is doing for the holiday season. I want to end this year on an upbeat note. So I think that's enough. I'm trying to make up for the month that I missed. All right, I'm done. Thank you, Co-President Saad. Thank you, Co-President Green.
Okay, so you do want to filter the SCA for the next steps for January 4th to be discussed in
Yes.
December 14th.
Yes, please.
Okay, no problem. Any other council members have any last comments of items for the next agenda? We do have a presenter that will be coming from, not sure which department of District 75, but Shona Gibson, which is our executive, will be coming to present an important item for the community. So that will be for the 14th as well, just to let the council members know. I guess we will go to the next item just to give public comment. So before we do that, I know, and I want to check with the interpretation lines. Spanish interpreter, can you please see if there's any participants in your room?
Just one moment while I ask. This is Rafael, Spanish interpreter. I've asked and waited perhaps 5 seconds, but there's no reply and not yet.
Okay, thank you. Mandarin interpreters, is there any participation in your room?
I'm not getting any response from Mandarin line.
Okay, since we don't have most likely any participants in the interpretation room, will it be okay to relieve the interpreters for Spanish and Mandarin, Co-President Green?
Yes, definitely. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
interpreters, and we look forward to seeing you again on December 14th.
It is 8:55. The interpretation room will be closed. Thank you.
Okay.
And
you.
for your service tonight.
Thank you for having us.
We will have public comment. I do see we have a parent, Wanda, have her hand up. If you're available, you
Yes.
can. Oh, you're drawing yourself? Go
Yes,
ahead.
hi, good evening, everyone. Sorry for hijacking, I came a little late, but I came perfectly on the nick of time when you guys were discussing SCA. I've been started again in participatory budgeting in the Bronx. I'm working with 2 council members within the Bronx, Council District 18 and 13. Amanda Farias and Marjorie Velasquez, as a matter of fact, participated in the city agencies briefing that was held the week before Halloween, October the 31st. I not quite remember exactly the date, but it was the Tuesday before. Due to the fact that it was done virtually, and it was because I'm working with these 2 council members, which are in the Bronx. And I couldn't participate enough for the entire city. Working with the school construction authority, we did it to present some ideas, and we did not have the entire ideas map that is the people from all the communities throughout all the boroughs, exactly citywide. We do have until January the 7th for Council Member Farias, which is Council District 18, to submit ideas. But we do have until December the 16th to submit ideas for anybody who lives in the area of Parkchester, Clapham Point, East Chester Road, like that. But due to the fact that we do not have enough projects from the school, I wanted to say thank you to Ms. Green to bring into attention and to bring the school construction authority to sit down with you guys and us in December the 14th, because that's a little bit before the 14th. The 14th is actually perfect because we have the 16th, and my daughter goes to the Atline Stevenson campus, which houses 7 schools, and there's 2 inclusion schools in that building, part of P17X. We do have several projects coming from that school, and we wanted to make sure that all those projects were actually quite participating. So I wanted, in lieu of all that, I wanted to have, if it's possible, to have an invitation sent to all the schools, whether they're District 75 or not. I know that we are CCD75, but if you guys can put me in the list and I receive an invitation, so I can forward it to the other parents so they can participate and they have the advantage to discuss anything, all the projects. Because I also know that the School Construction Authority has other schools that they're being built in the Bronx that are directly impacting District 75. So I wanted to say thank you again because it will give us a lot more chance to speak to them. I know there's a lot of projects, but not many from the schools. Our schools need a lot more than what we have right now. And as a matter of fact, we're trying to get a life skills classroom for our school and another school. I don't remember what school, but it's another District 75 in the Bronx that is looking to have a life skills classroom. I do know that there's a school in Queens that have that life skills classroom. I would love to know what school is that one because I do have some pictures, but I would like to find out more about the logistics. So if it's possible for me to address the people, of course, I guess I will have to wait until the end of the meeting to address anybody. I hope that the people from SCA will be there and have the chance for me to actually speak to them.
Thank you, Wanda. We will have the flyer out for distribution through the principals and the parent coordinators in District 75. So if you're not receiving it, let us know and email us at District 75 Council at schools NYC.
I am not.
If you go to our
I'm getting
website.
it actually quite late because I found out about this meeting because I sent a text message to someone and said, oh, Wanda, I'm in the meeting right now. What? I didn't. I was looking at my email. I'm not receiving your emails anymore for whatever reason.
Okay, so if you go back to our website, ccd75.org,
Yes.
you can, it will pop up a subscribe, put your email in the subscribe, and then you will be on our listserv. Our council member Angel, who manages the website, she will make sure that your email's there and that you will be receiving emails from us as fast as we can. Sometimes it's hard, but also make sure your parent coordinator is receiving our flyers. And also the Remind app. If you're not signed up to the Remind app.
I do have the Remind app.
Okay, and then the district also has a Remind app as well. So do sign up with Ray Velez, the family leadership coordinator, to get on his list because he is sharing the flyers there. Also, you can look on our homepage. There is all of our meetings for business and calendar, and you can RSVP in the front page of the website. So you'll still get the information multiple ways. But please put your email in the subscription so that you'll keep getting it. Sometimes it does, with technology, it's never very perfect, but
yeah.
Just try the ways I just said and let us know if any of those ways that I just described to you doesn't work. Let us know and email us at the council, at D75 Council at schools.
I do have I go to the Remind app every single day. When I went to the app, I saw something for December the 12th. So perhaps it's because I received so many emails and I see so many notifications because I received the notification from my school and the district itself. I need to, I guess, to look through the entire thread.
If you are, you're welcome. And also if you are on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, we also are posting information there as well as resources. Again, it is from our outreach chair. So just use those if you are social media.
I have all that, but thank you. Because the one in Instagram, for some reason, whenever I do use the Google Lens with the QR code, it never goes through for some reason. But I'm definitely gonna make sure because it is important for me that I'm extremely involved with the schools. You must all know that. Not everybody knows me, but I know you guys do. So sorry, my daughter is right next to me with her tablet. My apologies. Anyway, I'll definitely gonna be looking out for the flyer for the meeting on the 14th. I'm gonna be taking advantage if you give me the opportunity to address the SCA because I do have a few questions and I need to find out what school is that school in Queens that have the life skills classroom. If any of you know what school is that one, I will be greatly appreciative. Okay, thank you for the opportunity of addressing you guys. and have a good evening. Thank you.
Appreciate your advocacy. Any of the public attendees would like to give a public comment or question? We still have Deputy Superintendent Breyer online, as well as Deputy Superintendent Kleinberg and Superintendent Usant. Not see any hands, and I know it's a long evening. Is there any council members that would like to share an announcement this evening? We do have the District 75 District Leadership Team meeting, which is open to the public. Hold for tomorrow, December 1st at 12 p.m. And that can be shared. It is remote, so that link can be shared by the districts. President's Council, I know they have a meeting this month, not sure what date it is, but we will follow up with the District 75 community. And if there's any other announcements that members on the council would like to make, feel free to raise your hand. If Councilmember Lawrence is available and can speak, can fill us in on the updates. If he has any. See anybody? Don't hear anybody. Co-President Green, do you have any last words? Not sure if he's still at Tweed.
Yep, I am still at Tweed, me and our trustee liaison from FACE. We're the only two people at Tweed right now, but all I really want to say is that I hope that everyone had a great November, a great Thanksgiving. And I'm looking forward to people coming out in December. I want to echo what Mr. Spencer, Councilmember Spencer, continuously warns us of, that in January, February, December, January, February, because it's the holiday time, there tends to be a lot of proposals that come out between now and the beginning of January. So we need to be vigilant about that. We need to be prepared. Our parents need to be prepared and ready to speak at these hearings, especially if it involves your school. You can speak virtually, you can sign up virtually, but you have to sign up by a certain time in order to be on either a joint public hearing or on a PEP meeting. But it is important that your school, if your school happens to be involved, does get support, not just from us, and we will always be willing to support you, but also from some of the parents that are actually in those schools, so that the PEP can see how that community is affected and whether that community is pro or against any particular co-locations or truncations, or because it's not all co-locations. Sometimes there's a truncation where they're getting rid of certain grades in a particular school. Sometimes it is an opening of a new school. But either way, they need to hear your voice, and it's a couple of the places that everyone's voices are welcome. So to that, I'm looking forward to seeing you all on December the 14th.
Thank you, Co-President Green. It is really a good time. Are there any last words from council members before we motion to adjourn? No, again, no hands, heard nothing. Any council member would like to motion to adjourn this meeting for the November calendar meeting of November 30th? Nobody fell asleep. I see you, Councilmember Spencer. Do you have anything to add, or do you like to make the motion to adjourn?
Stay safe, everybody. Oh, and yeah, stay safe. Use our email address. Any issues? C75council at schools.nyc.gov. And yeah, I'll make a motion to adjourn. Thank you, President Side. Thank you, President Green.
I hope everyone can hear Councilman Spencer. Thank you for your participation, everyone's participation this evening. And Councilmember Spencer adjourns. And we have a second, or we can have all adjourn.
I second.
Thank you, Councilmember Montalban. Is there any opposition from us adjourning? If I don't hear anything, I think we're all adjourned, and say good night and happy holidays to everyone. And we will see everyone soon. Thank you, Superintendent Lusant.
Take care,
Appreciate it.
everyone. Have a good night. Take good care.
Thank you.
Remember,
Superintendent.
we only a phone call, a text, or an email away.
Can you
I don't
just
have
share
your
with the
phone number,
public?
Mr. Vicente.
Superintendent Lusant, can you just share how can our attendees tonight who are not council members can reach out to the district if they don't have the contact?
Yes, they can call 212-802-1502, or they can reach out to the council if they want my number to contact me, or email me KLOUISS@schools.nyc.gov. CC Sasha English, because that gives us you know, a two-pronged approach. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Superintendent.
Sure.
Thank you, Deputy Superintendent Pryor. And I want to say good night, everyone. Thank you.
Good night.
Good
See you on
night.
the 14th.
Good night, Wanda. Good night, council members.
Good night, everyone. Stay safe.
Be
Good
safe.
care.
Be
Get
safe.
home safely, Co-President Green.
Thank you,
Be well.
Superintendent Toussaint.
Of course, be well.